Castaway, first requested to me by Faye and directed by Robert Zemeckis, is a 2000 film starring Tom Hanks, who plays a man named Chuck Nolan, whose plane crashes in the Pacific Ocean. Chuck, now stranded on an island in the Pacific Ocean, is desperately clinging to survival by any means necessary in the hopes of making it back home to the love of his life. Alright, so Castaway is a film I think most of us are pretty aware of by now. We know Tom Hanks is on an island, he befriends a volleyball. We know the gist of the story. That's the core of it. I think I've actually seen this movie before, to be honest, but it's been a really, really long time. And I was actually pretty young the last time I saw it, so I don't think there was a lot that I truly remembered about, the complexity of it. What I like, though, is that this film is, in fact, way more complex than I remembered it being. It's not simply about a man and his best friend volleyball on an island. There's so much here to be interpreted about love, loss, regret, fate, perseverance, that all makes this a really captivating experience. The story starts off by showing the audience a man who thinks he knows it all. He's not particularly friendly to other people, he's a bit selfish, and the manner in which he shows appreciation is pretty questionable most of the time. But through the process of having everything taken away from him, he learns to value and appreciate aspects of his life way more. By having everything taken away from him, he learns humility, and most importantly, he undergoes tremendous growth. This is exactly the type of development that a character in this type of film needs. If the character is going to survive, they need to fundamentally change because of their experience. Generally speaking, it should be for the better, because then the story has a general audience appeal whereby the audience can feel inspired and or get some sort of messaging out of it that they can apply to their own lives. In this story, the development of Chuck is pretty straightforward. He loves a woman, he's stuck on an island, and he's trying to survive to get back to her. That's the primary backstory the character is given. And that's really most of the depth he needs for this story to work. What I liked about the direction of this story is that through his character, we understand how fate takes us in directions we never anticipate. And in heading those directions, we experience growth that changes us for the better. And it may seem basic, like a basic concept to some, but I found it very interesting thematically. Unsurprisingly, Tom Hanks is awesome in this movie. He really makes Chuck an interesting character without even really saying all that much. I mean, a lot of this movie is just simply, spent watching Tom Hanks do shit on an island. But it's really interesting because you can connect with his plight so much, despite him not even being that likable of a character in the early stages of the film. You can feel his pain. So whether or not he was an excellent person prior to being stranded on an island won't make or break your feelings of empathy for him, because the film makes you feel something for him. A lot of this is the performance, but a lot of it is also the writing, which does purposely show, him struggling to adapt to his surroundings. Nothing is easy, everything is earned, and that makes you feel most of the times like his obstacles are insurmountable, which really makes the plot feel more dramatic and compelling and a character that you can get behind. In addition to that, I love the cinematography, because personally I always felt incredibly immersed in Chuck's surroundings. The island feels very much like its own character with life, distinct geographic features, and all that is brought to life in shots to make the viewer feel like a present spectator. And when Chuck is actually in the water trying to get to safety, things feel incredibly frantic and dangerous, and this makes the viewer feel very uneasy, adding that tension and suspense in the process. And the score is also really, really good. It's used several times throughout the film and really gives the film feelings of hope to balance out the themes of suffering that are there pretty often as well. I actually saw the score was composed by Alan Silvestri, and I'm not surprised it's as good as it is. I don't feel like there's too much more to say about this film, honestly. I mean, there are some other relevant characters, such as Helen Hunt's character Kelly, who's interesting in her own right, but much of this film does fall on the shoulders of Tom Hanks, and he absolutely delivers. I think Castaway is great and even better than I remembered. A lot better, honestly. As for the pros cons, for the pros, Castaway delivers a great story with insightful themes, a great leading performance, awesome cinematography, and a great score. As for the cons, I really don't have any. I think this film sticks the landing and gets a 10 out of 10 from me. I'd recommend it for anyone looking for a dramatic, engaging drama film. So have you guys seen Castaway? What did you think of it? And if not, let me know why not. I have some other reviews coming to you guys in the near future, including a review of a Bane statue I got from Prime 1. So it's a 1/3 scale, and trust me, it's big and it is amazing. Not sure why I'm always drawn to the villains, but I am, and it's a reality, so I'm just going to have to go with it. Either way, this is WillFoxification signing off. I'll see you in the next review.